Welcome to FootballGamePlan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and welcome to our 2017 NFL season preview for the Buffalo Bills. Now here's a look at what we have on tap for this preview. We will take a look at both sides of the ball in our offensive and defensive overview. We will also give you a reason for optimism as well as a cause for concern. And we will give you a breakout candidate who is an underrated player that'll end up playing a huge role this season. But first, let's take a look at some of the big storylines heading into the season as we get things kicked off in our 4-minute offense. The Buffalo Bills usher in a new era with the hiring of former Carolina Panthers defensive coordinator Sean McDermott to become the new head coach. And McDermott is known as a defensive mastermind after having big-time success with both the Philadelphia Eagles and most recently the Carolina Panthers. His hire seems like a great mesh as the Bills had their fair share of struggles on that side of the ball last season. Quarterback Tyrod Taylor has statistically put together back-to-back solid seasons, throwing for over 6,000 yards with 37 touchdowns to only 12 interceptions. He also does a lot of damage on the ground as well, as he has rushed for over 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns during that same time frame. Now, despite all of that production, the 6', 220-pound, 7-year vet hasn't garnered the faith from the Bills front office on a long-term deal and is essentially playing the 2017 season on a show-me contract, and we'll see if he can show enough once again to secure a long-term deal to be the Bills quarterback for the future. The 2017 season will be the first time we'll get to see last year's second-round pick Reggie Ragland in action. The former Alabama linebacker missed the entire season with a knee injury, and he'll be learning his second system in consecutive seasons. So that, coupled with the fact that he has to overcome the mental side of a knee injury and get out there and play his regular speed, will make his progress something to watch throughout the course of the season. I thought the Bills hit some home runs in the 2017 NFL Draft, and they'll be looking for 2 of those picks to pay huge dividends in 2017. Wide receiver Zay Jones is coming off a remarkable career at East Carolina and was brought in to be the perfect complement to Sammy Watkins. Now, Jones has tremendous hands and also has a knack for working himself open anywhere on the field. Cornerback Tre'Davious White out of LSU is expected to replace Stephon Gilmore on the outside. White, in my opinion, is cut from the same cloth as current starter Ronald Darby at cornerback, and he's best described as your quintessential matchup corner that can play inside or out, field or boundary. Right now, everyone's record is at 0-0, and every fan is excited about the 2017 season, and every coach feels as though that this year's team has the right mix of everything to push them over the top. Well, here's why you should be optimistic about the 2017 season. The Buffalo Bills offense, at least on paper, has the potential to be one of the best in the AFC. They have a dynamic quarterback in Tyrod Taylor, one of the best and most elusive backs in the game in LaShawn McCoy. A healthy Sammy Watkins, along with rookie Zay Jones, definitely gives Bills fans a ton of optimism about the season. Also, this was a team that was one of the league's best in rushing the football. That shouldn't change this year, and with a more productive passing game, the rushing numbers would be the direct beneficiary. I'm also excited about the tight end position for the Bills. When you have one good tight end, you're tough to game plan against. When you have 2, you're next to impossible to stop. I'm a big fan of both Charles Clay and Nick O'Leary on the roster. Both guys do give you the potential over the middle of the field and also underneath. New offensive coordinator Rick Dennison comes over from the Denver Broncos and is a former star tight end himself, so he understands the value in using that position to maximize offensive output. You also have to be optimistic about the defensive additions. The Bills added former Packers defensive back Micah Hyde, former Browns defensive back Jordan Poyer, and former Panthers corner Leonard Johnson via free agency. And I use the term defensive back because both Hyde and Poyer can play corner or both safety spots. In my opinion, that'll strengthen them on the back end because all 3 guys have the ball skills to turn the ball over, and they also bring back Bakari Rambo, which I think is key for any pressure style defense to have. And when you toss in rookie corner Tre'Davious White out of LSU, as well as new head coach Sean McDermott and new defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier, you can expect the Bills to make significant strides on that side of the ball in 2017. Looking at some causes for concern for the Buffalo Bills, starting on the offensive side of the ball, and the biggest one is Sammy Watkins. If he can't stay healthy for a full season, that could be a problem. Watkins is a legit game breaker that can turn this offense into one of the toughest ones in the league to defend. It's not about being healthy completely, but usage also is a big issue. They have to find ways to get him the football, whether that's as a runner or as a receiver, but him being out there 100% is a big part of that. Also, the right side of the offensive line is a question mark in my opinion. Last year, Jordan Mills had his ups and downs, and will have to hold off rookie second-round pick Dion Dawkins out of Temple. Now, Dawkins can play either tackle spot, also inside at guard, excelling everywhere equally. This is a thin unit already, and they have to deal with the 5-game suspension of Centrell Henderson to start the season. Also, keep an eye on undrafted rookie free agent Zach Voitek as well out of New Haven. He should surprise some at camp and has similar versatility as Dawkins. Another cause for concern would be defensively at the second level. I like the personnel with Lorenzo Alexander, Reggie Ragland, Preston Brown, and Ramon Humber. The question is if they can make that transition to the new defense seamlessly and get off the ground or hit the ground running. Also, we don't know what to expect from Ragland just yet, coming off of an injury, so you still have to take the wait-and-see approach with this group. Every year there's a player on the team that enters the season on the bubble. Maybe he's buried on the depth chart or he's an afterthought, but they end up playing a big role on the team by the season's end. So without further ado, here's my pick for the offensive and defensive breakout candidate. Jonathan Williams gets my vote for offensive breakout candidate. The Bills drafted him in the 5th round last year out of Arkansas and allowed Mike Gillislee to walk in free agency. I like Williams' game, and I'm pretty sure the Bills do as well, to let the productive Gillislee leave. Williams' game, in my opinion, is very similar to former Philadelphia Eagles running back Deuce Staley. He'll prove to be the smart choice for Buffalo. Defensively, Jordan Poyer is one that I think is ready to break out. He's been in the league 4 years and has served multiple roles. Now, going back to his college film at Oregon State, you saw a guy that has high-level football IQ and also ball skills. Here is his opportunity to finally showcase what he can do as a pro, as a consistent starter. Poyer is also strong in run support, which is something that the Bills definitely need to upgrade. All right, it's prediction time. So here's how I think the 2017 season will play out. To the Super Bowl for the Buffalo Bills goes as follows. Number one, the passing game has to become a threat and not a liability. They have to find balance within their offense. Like I said earlier, they're one of the best rushing teams in the league, and if the passing game comes to the party, this offense could be fun to watch and hard to stop. Second, the run defense has to tighten up. You talk about a defense that gave up nearly 135 yards on the ground, which put them 29th in the NFL. That definitely has to improve. Otherwise, they can get run out the stadium literally once again in 2017. And the secondary has to be able to turn the ball over. I think they have to find more interceptions in 2017, which is why I think they brought in a guy like Leonard Johnson from Carolina, Micah Hyde from Green Bay, and Jordan Poyer. In my opinion, all three of those guys can find the football. Tre'Davious White, as a rookie, has the ability to pick off a pass and also has the ability to bring it back for a 6. So if they can find their hands on a lot more footballs in 2017, they can definitely find themselves in Minnesota. I have the Bills finishing second in the AFC East. It's going to be a really tight race between Buffalo and Miami for this second spot. And I think the Bills, with their ability to run the ball, I think we're going to see their passing game take the next step. And I just believe a little bit more in Tyrod Taylor as opposed to Ryan Tannehill. Defensively, just by adding Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier, along with the personnel changes they've made in the secondary, I think Buffalo will be vastly improved defensively, all of which will net them a winning season. So that's a wrap for this video. Be sure to follow me on all of my social media accounts as you see listed. And if you want to check out our NFL season previews, as you already should, visit our website at footballgameplan.com/2017 NFL previews. And then finally, don't forget to subscribe on iTunes to Football Game Plan Podcast, where you can find all of our NFL shows like the Football Cypher, where Teron Davenport, Chris James, Gene Clemens, Brandon Howard, and myself will go around the room talking about the Buffalo Bills. So check out the Football Cypher on iTunes or on our website at footballgameplan.com/podcast.